Mars former founder's capital. Elite boarding school. Cadet quarters, ambassador trade mediator cadets of the Mars Republic. Akina woke up and sat up. She looked at her wristband. Everything seems fine. Wait, elevated pulse from Nia. Akina frowned, then commanded toward the wall, monitor Nia. The wall displayed a camera feed of a young Mars space cadet practicing Tai Chi. Hawk, natives can't even wait until the sun is fully up, Akina groaned, annoyed. She herself was a native, born on Mars, but Nia was an American native, a Mars native, and many of them started their days very early. Akina was 15 years old and responsible for the first-year students wing the 12-year-olds. She was also new royal, which had thrown her straight into leadership duties. Her room was just a bed against the wall. Everything else, except for a few potted plants, was hidden behind the walls. A cat lay on a cushion and now settled onto Akina's legs. Akina immediately picked her up. "You have to wait until I'm up. You're not allowed on the bed, we can't afford more demerits." She stood up and pulled on her full body suit. It was blue, and on her shoulder, it bore a symbol showing she belonged to the new Martian nobility. Even her cadet dagger was kept in her private room. She picked up the cat and cuddled her for a moment. "Wait, I'll get you something to eat." She headed toward the officers' mess. On the way, many people greeted her first. Akina always returned the greetings. She went to the serving machine. Cold chocolate, 2 apple turnovers with cinnamon, and a banana with chocolate glaze. "Your mother has rejected the apple turnovers. Alternative, cheese or ham?" the machine replied. Akina growled. "Okay, 1 and 1. A plate with 1 cheese pastry and 1 ham pastry, as well as a large cup of cold drinking chocolate, materialized. Nia was about to enter the officer's mess but was blocked. She left and came back half an hour later. "We need to change that," Akina said. "You come after your workout, just to get your shower time, and then still need time for breakfast." She looked toward Earth. A few decades earlier. Emigrants, the past becomes future. By Raginmund. Forward, the project. On a planet known as Nibiru, a god, probably Inky, looked at the protocol that appeared before him like a hologram. Planet Earth, emergency program active. Public star settler program still slowed and blocked. Archive collection, in progress. 3-field agriculture, suspended. New generation program, activated. Planetary restoration. He looked at the protocols. "What's going on here? I thought humans were supposed to survive?" "Yes, even meant to." He flipped further through the protocols. He kept reading, visibly displeased, but said nothing. "The new Alpha children are active. Is it really that difficult? I thought they were finally ready." He kept scrolling. Maybe they misunderstood from the Muppet Show Pigs in Space. Some of them still behave like that. The book lay open. The agent couldn't believe his eyes, but there it was in front of him. Program Dune. Chapter 1. A bus filled with scientists and an internationally mixed group of young people drove past a barrier. Signs pointed to where they were headed. Restricted area. International Military Space Research and Training Zone. Enter at your own risk. The bus stopped in front of a massive hall so enormous in height that even a dwarf would have had to crawl inside. Ronnie stood at the entrance and greeted them. "Welcome to the Earth Repair and Space Settler Program. Please follow me." She climbed onto the roof of the hall and after about 10 meters descended a staircase leading into the deep interior of the structure. At the bottom, she waited until the last arrival had ducked low enough to clear the roofline, then manually sealed the upper airlock door with the push of a button. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now in the airlock chamber of Sandstorm Bunker 1B. The B stands for visitor. Please open both doors at the same time. She then opened the inner airlock door and beckoned them to follow. After a short hallway, they entered an auditorium. It was already obvious, some visitors never made it past this point. Emergency exits were visible on both sides, and there were 2 doors on each side labeled as restrooms. Nameplates in a box were set on the tables. Please sit at the spot with your nameplate. The group searched for their names and took their seats. You were selected for this program for various reasons. But all of you have one thing in common: you are inventive, capable of improvisation, and if one of you ever gives up, it usually doesn't last longer than a sunrise or sunset. Some of you curse so creatively that even heaven and hell would blush. But once you're done venting, you just aren't ready to quit. Now, if you know a few religious stories, you may have noticed, humanity is not alone. And we're not free to just do as we please. In principle, humanity has a lease agreement with Earth. Whether we were created or are a highly modified species, only a few know for sure. There are those who dream of abandoning everything and fleeing to Mars. But some entities out there won't tolerate that mindset. Since we won't listen to their warnings, they threaten to merge the matter of the newcomers with the matter of Mars itself. That's why it's called the Earth Repair Program. If you enter this program, there's no going back. You don't have to go to Mars in the end, but you'll remain in the repair program. You'll become Planet Ranger's Station Earth. Ronnie grinned. Well, the Planet Ranger bit, I just made that up. She pressed a button, and a light above a door behind her turned from red to green. I'll now go through this door. If you have questions, you may come in one at a time and I'll answer what I can without you having to commit to the program. If you wish to leave, she pressed another button, lighting up an emergency exit. Please use that door and immediately return to the air-conditioned bus. Do not stay outside, you'll roast, literally. If you choose to stay, press the green button in front of you. Once all remaining occupied seats are green, we'll continue. If you'd like a drink, go to the machine and say drink, you'll receive still mineral water. If you've decided to stay and want a snack, say eat, a small selection will appear on the screen. If you're undecided or leaving, please don't eat to ensure no one gets sick on the way out. If there are no private questions, I'll return in half an hour. Ronnie disappeared behind the door. The visitors looked around, confused and disoriented. The moment hit hard. Within 20 seconds, some of the youth's buttons turned green. Ronnie chuckled. Teenagers. Hyper-enthusiastic. She came back in and reset their buttons. At least give yourself a few minutes to think. She smiled and left again. She wasn't really supposed to do that. She didn't want to crush their enthusiasm, but neither did she want anyone to regret it forever, though that could still happen. Of the teens, 3 left, 2 of them came back. One scientist also left but returned after receiving a crucial piece of information. In the end, no one truly left. Ronnie listened in for a moment and laughed. Some teens were already dreaming of their Mars party. She cleared her throat and returned to the hall. Before we continue, some safety instructions. In general and in military zones, military command takes precedence. In scientific and settler school areas, section directors are in charge. An all-override authority only applies to me, and rarely. In emergencies, only military authority applies. If we ever receive other visitors, do not stare. Listen to their advice and forward it to your superiors. Do not argue. Just say, I'll have that verified. Now please open the box in front of you and place the contents on the table. Ronnie opened her demo box and held up a bracelet. Take a breath and relax. Now fasten the bracelet on your left wrist and make sure it clicks into place. That's yours now. You'll be buried with it someday, hopefully not soon. If you look at it, you'll see a small green LED blinking. This is your pulse, in the green zone. Next to it is a T-shaped diode, also hopefully green. That shows your body temperature. If you're out in the desert, don't wait until it turns red, that means severe burns. But don't wait until it turns from blue to pure white either, that's extreme hypothermia. The R-shaped diode indicates radiation exposure. If you haven't yet fulfilled your desire to have children, avoid the orange and dark blue zones. Otherwise, you might not be able to have any. Also, your bracelet shows an animal symbol. I'll now demonstrate its function: emergency evacuation. She pressed a button and tiny holographic animals leapt from the bracelets, hopping in front of the wearers. Follow them. The participants stood and followed the holograms to a blocked emergency exit. Then all the holograms turned red. Important information: if you are outside the leadership or instruction area of an AI or officer, your hologram turns red, Ronnie explained. Ronnie now sat in the officer's mess with the commander and the lead scientist. So, how did it go? The commander asked after a pause. We got everyone, Ronnie replied, even the jokers. The commander laughed. He knew then this wouldn't be a joyless group, but discipline would need to be taught. The nuclear scientist too? The scientific lead asked quickly. Ronnie took a deep breath. Yes, but if he doesn't follow the protocols, you can assign him to toilet duty. He's here to repair, nothing else. Well, the commander pursed his lips, then we'll show him that we chose him for his expertise, but make clear that in what's coming, he's still a novice. Ronnie grinned, and what does that make me? The messenger. Chosen. The officer replied. She took several deep breaths, and it was clear that she was very anxious about it and visibly didn't want to face it alone. What's the satellite doing? She asked. It's operational, the commander replied. I saw that. Sleet at over 5 degrees Celsius is extremely rare. Is it at our disposal if I register a need for it? Ronnie asked. I have full clearance, the commander answered. Okay, I want the command authority to be shared between the three of us from now on. One can be easily sabotaged. 3 will be more difficult, Ronnie explained. The officer grunted and nodded, but her knowledge of the satellite's capabilities barely scratched the surface. What about the princess? Ronnie asked. The officer swallowed. Okay, correction, she has the master command. And if the satellite detects no sign of life from her, it will vanish into the endless void. Not quite, Ronnie clarified. Then it disappears into Tajana's home universe and waits there for her. She wasn't made to be dead. If Earth still exists, she'll return. But even the super rich will have to fast if we want to finish in time before Earth suffocates us or catches fire. There's something in the protocol book about alpha children. Who are they? The officer asked. You people have too many names for them. Crystal children, nature children, the new generation. To put it simply, alpha children. Children who initiate a new path, Ronnie replied. Why don't we just get rid of all deserts right away? The chief scientist asked. Well, this 4-field climate system is not just a multi-field agricultural economy. Among other things, it also serves to allow the intelligent mammal known as humanity to remain dominant, Ronnie responded. The scientist nodded. Ouch, yeah, that makes sense.